I do not understand why the go-to endgame design defaults to clearing enemies before a timer runs out or reaches a certain point. I feel like people dislike this concept across many gacha games. Genshin, Spiral Abyss, Wuthering Waves, Tower of Adversity, and Whimpering Wastes, which I'm gonna get into later. There's a lot to say about the current reset, but I need to know, does the gacha community unanimously agree that fighting a boss by surviving its attacks and dodging, countering, whatever, is more fun than hitting sponges until it dies before the timer runs out? Like, Wuthering Waves' hologram system is perfect. I've said it many times before. Even though it has a timer, it really doesn't matter because the boss will usually kill you before then, or you kill it in a couple minutes max. It's just an endgame about dodging, countering, which is a big part of Wuthering Waves, and learning to get better. Again, it's comparable to Elden Ring, and that's considered one of the best games of all time, but then I think about the casual side, which is the majority of the player base, and it's not like they're gonna pander to the tryhards that can clear anything. They're gonna give content to the majority of the player base, and I just don't think that involves adding extremely hard content. Like, Kuro's already nerfing Whimpering Wastes, and it's been like a couple days, but it's clear that enough people did not want the difficulty to increase in that sort of way. Now, I do understand that Whimpering Waste is meant to be a wave clearing game mode because holograms are their single target, and TOA is a combination of everything, so it fits, and I don't really know how you'd make it harder in any other way. Like, they made the game mode harder just by removing the broken token that gave 40% crit rate and like 60 or 80% crit damage, something like that, but it was completely broken and overused. The rest of the tokens didn't really matter. It's the same everything buffs, enemies, just with different tokens, and a lot of people relied on that crit token, including me. So it's been a struggle this cycle with no Camellia, no GN. I'll never pull GN, but I sort of regret skipping Camellia. I didn't really have the pulls for her. But I think gacha games should capitalize more on the 1v1 style boss fighting as an endgame game mode. If the holograms from Wuthering Waves reset every so often, or were given weird gimmicks or something like that, then they would have the perfect endgame mode. Even the solo bosses in Tower of Adversity are pretty fun. Not only does a solo boss enemy let you just focus on its attacks and dodging, countering, all that, it also allows you to use way more teams than Whimpering Waste lets you. I think that's another issue, that the nature of Whimpering Waste grouping and AoE, it doesn't really let you use many characters, which sucks. Genshin had the exact same problem, where the content is so specific to certain characters that you don't get to have fun with weird off-meta comps or teams you just want to try out. Now with Whimpering Wastes, people were already divided on its release for whether or not they enjoyed the mode, but now it's clear people are not happy. And yes, they will be changing it for version 2.2, which is pretty soon, so that's good at least. But overall, I feel like I can't be the only one who wants a hologram style boss 1v1 endgame mode that goes further than just the holograms we have. Something similar to Tower of Adversity or Spiral Abyss, where the further you go, the harder it gets, but instead of timers or multiple enemies and waves and floor buffs or nerfs, it's just you and the boss, maybe some changes / buffs for that boss on the harder stages. That would be perfect, because right now the State of Wuthering Waves endgame is a little rocky for a good chunk of players. Almost feels like Kuro wants you to pull GN, Camellia, Rocha, all of them, because without them it's a struggle. Man, I needed Zanny to come out yesterday, because this is just too much at this point. Like, there's so many gacha games coming in the future. Like, I'm looking forward to Project Mugen or Ananta, Neverness, maybe even Arknight's Enfield, we'll see. I just hope those games don't go too hard on the timer-based content, because I think people need something new. There's definitely ways of making content challenging without increasing health and putting a timer on it. Like, make enemies do more damage, so you're forced to dodge or counter, or at least pay attention to the game. The issue I had with Genshin is that Spiral Abyss stopped being about fighting a boss and became, oh, click these buttons in order, then do it again and again and again until the boss dies in a certain amount of time, which made every boss more or less feel the same. Wuthering Waves doesn't really feel like that now, even though some bosses are pretty simple and boring, like the Heron. But like, Crownless is a perfect boss. The Monkey is also really fun too, with its different style of attacks where it jumps on the log and you either have to dodge the shockwaves or you use a mid-air attacker to fight it while it's doing that. That made it super fun. Even Fallacy is super fun. It's just, I wish they capitalized on this a bit more. I get why Genshin can't, because they don't really have the in-game mechanics to do so, but Wuwa does have them. It's there, the countering, dodging, whatever. They can add a game mode that focuses on this, which they might eventually do. Who knows? I'm sure they will, because Kuro's actually doing a really good job with Wuwa so far and responding to the feedback. I guess it'll just be a while until we get yet another endgame mode, so I will definitely be looking forward to that. I don't know, what do you guys think? I swear I can't be the only one who thinks like this. I think a 1v1, just you and a boss that's just super strong, would be such a good endgame mode. It would be so much fun.